Hi everyone, this is Amaya Tala, and I help people and Mother Earth flourish in life. So today I want to talk about my experience in nailing and flopping my first open mic. And I'm doing this because, we're all in this journey where we are continuously pushing the frontiers of our being so that we can show up in this world and really co-create a world that is really for us and really fits our authentic makeup or design. And so I myself is also in that journey, and I hear that there are so many people who are not so many people, but there are people who are getting inspired and getting motivated by me sharing what I do. And so it's been a very amazing and wonderful experience just sharing that with people and also seeing other people do the same thing. And so with this video, I wanted to share with you my experience, and I would love to hear yours as well. And so when I did my open mic, it was a very exhilarating experience because there's a crowd there, and I really love Austin because Austin is full of very unique musicians, and the vibe is very, very conducive to creativity and just to being weird and being yourself. And so I think that's one of the things that is really amazing in a space like this. And I'm sure there's a lot of other spaces in in the United States and around the world. And so it's just very nice to be supported like that. But I was really nervous before, so I did a lot of preparation and practice, and a lot of it is physical, and like a big equal parts of it is also mental. So definitely the healing work and the inner work are definitely important in that journey. And so when I actually did it, I think it's a culmination of the whole my whole life journey, because as many of you know, building that confidence, building that giving permission to oneself to allow myself to have that space and to take up space is one of the things that's very important, because I will not even be in that space to think that I can be on that stage if I don't allow myself mentally to take up space. So it's very important to do that work so that we can actually show up and allow ourselves the freedom to be and to express ourselves in spaces physically, So when I did that, I think it was very culminating for me, because it's been a while since I've actually engaged with a crowd. And so I gave a little speech in before the actual song, and I was able to speak to the crowd. And with the first song that I did, I pretty much nailed it. I mean, it's not completely perfect, but I delivered it the way that I wanted it to be. And so that was a very successful moment for me. And what made it successful is the fact that it was coming from the heart, coming from the right intention. I feel like I delivered a message, and the right message about restoring Mother Earth through our own healing and our own flourishing. So I was able to communicate that to the crowd, that's my intention with my singing. And some people loved it. But the second song, I think, is the highlight. Well, they're equally highlights, the first and second songs, because I flopped the second song. And I didn't reach the note that I wanted to reach, because I think I started with a very high key because I became overconfident with my first song. I thought I was superhuman with my second song, so I was humbled. So I didn't. It was still okay. I reached it. I still reached the note, but it was kind of like shaky. But because that level of note is not, I didn't really practice that level of note. It didn't really come out the way I wanted it to. And so I was a little disappointed, a little embarrassed, a little angry and upset, because there were so many dynamics that was happening in that moment, other than just that. It was interesting for me to reflect on it afterwards, because with the energy work that we're doing, a lot of us are doing, with some people who know about that, is there's a lot of energetic preparation that happens before any event, workshop, spaces, or anything that we do. And so coming into a space that we share with other people, obviously there's a lot of energies there. And honestly, I didn't think there's going to be a lot of people at 10, around like 9-ish p.m. I thought people were going to be leaving because I'm one of the last in the list. And so I was like, maybe there's not going to be a lot of people who's going to be watching. But it was full. The coffee shop was full. And I sang a cappella, which is not really normal in that space. Most musicians have guitars and instruments. I sang a cappella, so it was more kind of exposed to distractions. And there were people, I would say half of the room were listening and being quiet, and the other half were very loud. And I was getting distracted a little bit by these loud noises that don't seem to care. Like, they just became louder and louder as I was singing. And I was feeling this energy of a little bit of resistance, whether intentionally, unintentionally, I just felt it. And so there was that tug and pull energetically. And so that kind of put me out of balance a little bit as well. But I guess it's a learning experience for me to know what it's like to be managing these collective energies in a physical space, especially if it's a lot like that, because it's my first time really performing like in a bigger crowd like that, so it's a learning experience for me. And I think another thing that came up for me personally is the fact that as a person of color who didn't really have the resources to be prepared for spaces like this, like I didn't really train for this. I didn't grow up having the knowledge that I can even do this. I did not have formal training. I'm pretty much just kind of taught myself and experimented with my connected with my body to see how I can produce sound in a very natural way. It kind of brought up this kind of feeling of unfairness and injustice in terms of like not being able to be fully equipped and prepared for spaces like this that other people are, because they have the resources or they have the opportunities. And so it kind of brought up that feeling of it's unfair, and so I felt, and the fact that there are people who don't support that or make it harder for you to do that. And so there's a level of anger and being upset with that experience. And so that flop or failure brought up some things that needed to be healed more within me. And at that time, I was just partly in the emotions. I think I was able to accept it half, maybe 50%. It's okay. I know intellectually that it's fine, but then half of me is just in the emotions of like disappointment, frustration, and anger and being upset. But then later on, I got to peel the layers more, and I got the opportunity to actually heal what that brought up for me, and that's what I'm sharing with you. And so I had to really heal that and reflect on that and heal my own triggers and and what I can balance within myself. That even though people or spaces around me are not ready to be fully supportive, which is what did I expect, you know, you know, I can do that within myself, and that's the work that I do. That's the healing work and flourishing work that I do. And I think the blessing also in that experience is that I felt, because it's interesting how ironic it is, that I flopped the song that was written. My interpretation of it is that it's about how people search in all places and the world for their person, their people. And once they find that person or their people, it's like they want to invite them into their life because those people really accept them and love them just for who they are. That was what the song is about, and that's the song that I failed. But when I failed that song, the person who was with me really just supported me in spite of that and loved me and really made me feel like everything is okay, everything is good, I'm still loved unconditionally. And so the person I'm singing about was there, person that I'm trying to find, and I found. And I saw that that's the case because that person literally unconditionally loved me in spite of that. I don't want to cry right now, but yeah. So that's really interesting how that played out. Such a beautiful story. Another video I'm gonna be recording later on is about mastery versus perfection, where it's really about the story sometimes, even if things don't go the way you planned or you make mistakes, you know, there are imperfections, pains, whatever. Sometimes it goes down to the story you're creating in your life. And sometimes if you want beautiful moments like those, things that don't go your way usually are essential parts of that story. And so it's actually perfect in that way. So it's interesting to reflect back on that and just see how perfectly everything's unfold, you know, and just to accept that and to love that about yourself and our lives. Let me see. I do have a list here. Yeah, so I'm starting to love my imperfections, the imperfect parts of myself, the imperfect parts of life, because now I'm seeing that they're just part of the whole picture. They're part of the whole painting, and I'm having more appreciation for that. And now I'm able to record this video, and I talk more about my failure than my success, because there's so many gems that you can get from it. There's so many lessons and things to munch on, things to process, and it's just so beautiful because it helps us grow, and our growth is beautiful. The manifestation of the emergence of our beauty is just beautiful. And what's better than that? So yeah, so I'm going to talk about this more in a different video, but I'm starting to love the imperfections of our stories and not being attached to a manufactured kind of vision that is usually what is portrayed in media and the society. And so I'm learning to see the natural unfolding of stories and my story, and I'm starting to accept that, and there's a sense of peace and calm and being already here instead of trying to get there to whatever accomplishment or success I want. I'm feeling that already here with all of my imperfections and all of the things that don't go manufacturedly is it's quite a reframe, you know. So for those who are watching these videos that make you think, which is one of the good feedback that I got, that's another thing to think about. So yeah, that's what it's like, and to both succeed and fail. And those are what I learned. So I hope that you picked up something from this video, and I hope that this inspires you in some way. Please shine your light, please share your passion. We do need this on this earth, and sometimes that's all that matters is our presence and sharing our journeys and our stories. So yeah, so I hope that this video helped and resonated for you. If it did, please put it in the comment section below, and also hit the like, subscribe, and share button if you haven't done so. Yeah, many blessings to your journeys, and hopefully you get to also emerge and shine, and you get to share that with all of us. So I'm excited for our unfolding, for our flourishing and our thriving. Till next time, Flourishing Tribe, many blessings and namaste.